Hey guys, it's me, S, with tailorofalltrades.com and Gervais Decor Boutique. Today we're going to be talking about adhesives, and for me as a paper crafter, adhesives are hugely important. I'm going to be showing you the different types of adhesives that I keep here in my craft room at home. I'm sure there are many other types that maybe I don't even know about, but I'm just going to be showing you the ones that I use. So let's go ahead and start. We'll be starting by talking about glues, and the only thing about the products that I'm showing you today is that I'm not actually going to be using them. I'm just going to be showing you the products themselves and then some examples of how I've used them for crafting in the past. But if you want to take a look at me using these in action, just take a look at some of my other tutorials. But let's go ahead and start off with glues. Glue is a product that I don't use a ton. I think that it tends to be kind of messy, sticky. Obviously, it doesn't dry very quickly, and I have things to do, so I don't really have time to be waiting around for glue to dry. So I tend to use other types of products rather than glue. But when I have embellishments like flowers or fabric or something like that that really needs to be adhered really well, or that is somewhat dimensional, I will use glue. So Aleene's is just a type of glue that has been around forever. You can buy it obviously in bottles or in pens. This is what I use to adhere specifically fabric to some of my paper crafting. You can use that. You can also use a hot glue gun. Hot glue is great, especially for things that aren't flat, so embellishments that aren't flat, and I'll just go ahead and show you an example of that, of how I've used my hot glue in the past. So this is a dimensional, I think I called this the flower garden, I don't know, it's a little box, paper mache box set. I bought a bunch of these on sale at Beverly's, and I use them a ton because I think they're super cute. But if you can see here, all of this, this is a little teeny tiny apothecary jar, and then this is a little butterfly, and this is some grass, and I adhered all of that on with hot glue, and that's because I really need it to stick, and because it's not flat, it's not paper, and so I needed to be able to adhere it in a way that was long lasting and very permanent. So that's what I use hot glue for. Another type of glue that I use is the Zig two-way glue pen, and so I use this specifically for my work with deco foil, and I have a tutorial on how to use deco foil. In fact, I'll show you an example really quickly. Here is the deco foil in use on a card, and the neat thing about the Zig two-way glue pen is that it dries as if it were double stick tape, so you can personalize and write with it, but it dries as if it were double stick tape, so that's really neat and really handy. That's one that I use pretty consistently. Another thing that I use is E6000. E6000 is another one of those products that has been around forever. It is strong glue. And you will hear me talking about the difference between permanent and repositionable tape. This is a permanent type of adhesive. So once it dries, it is dried on. It will not move, it will not budge. And this is really great for making DIY magnets. So I've made a few, I made a ton over the course of my life, but I'll just go ahead and show you a few right here. Here's my shout out to Mike Trout, who I love with all my heart. Go Angels. Here's a Howl's Moving Castle magnet. This one is Pride and Prejudice, and this one is Downton Abbey. So where I use the E6000 on this particular type of craft is on the back. So these magnets here are super tiny, and they are called rare earth magnets, and you just put a teeny tiny little drop of this E6000. I used a toothpick when I did it, and then you just go ahead and place that magnet right on there, press in, let it dry, and when it does, these magnets will never come off the back of this bottle cap here. And I'll make a tutorial on how to make these DIY magnets with, we're using bottle caps, the rare earth magnets E6000. These are called epoxy stickers. They are the, I believe, the 1-inch circles, and I'll show you those because they're another type of adhesive that I'm going to be talking about today. And then an image that I chose, obviously Downton Abbey, and the ones that I love. I have all of these magnets all over my refrigerator because I make them a ton. And great gifts, really great gifts. So that's how you can use E6000. So that's glue. Like I said, I don't use glue a ton, but let's go ahead and move on to tape. Tape is something that I use all the time, and there are lots of different types of tape that you can use. The first kind, obviously, is just good old-fashioned Scotch tape. This is not very permanent. This is not very strongly adhering, and so I like to use this mainly for when I'm using my wafer dies and I don't want them to move as I'm running them through my Big Shot machine. So I will use the Scotch tape to sort of adhere it to my craft surface, and then I can just take the tape right off. That's why I like to use my Scotch tape. Another type of tape that you can use. These are really neat and really handy. These are the decorative tapes, and washi tape is just a brand that you can buy, but they come in sort of different kinds, all different sizes, all different thicknesses, all different types of patterns. These ones here are glitter. So let me just go ahead and show you a few of examples of how you can use this washi tape. The one thing about this is that it's not tearable, so you do have to cut it, which I'm going to talk to you about a type of tape in just a second that you can actually just tear with your fingers, which takes out a step and saves you a lot of time, especially if you're making a lot of different types of crafts all at once. So this is considered the washi tape. This is considered glitter lace tape. So these are two that I will show you. Let me just go ahead and show you some examples of it really quickly. So here is the washi tape, and I have used this just as a background on this one. I don't know if you can see that there. I've also used it here on this. These are gift card holders. So it's just a really neat way to embellish your final product. So that's washi tape there. And then here's an example of where I've used that glitter tape. So it's really just neat. Takes out a step if you are a glitter user, which I am. It just takes out a step for you to have to burnish that all by yourself and find a dye that works. So this tape is just really neat and super handy. So that is one type of tape you can use. You can also use these different little sort of like glue dots or tape tabs, and they're double stick, and they're just meant to make your life a little bit easier so that you can adhere things. I don't use these a ton because, like I said, I use double stick tape that tears. So this is sequin tape. It goes by many different names. I think the one that I started using also is the brand that belongs to Scrapbooking Made Simple, which is my favorite scrapbooking store. I have been going there for 7 years. I love it. They have their own brand of this double stick tape, which I believe is called Simply Defined and Simply Refined. I think that's the brand. I think Simply Refined is for some of their dyes, but Simply Defined is definitely for their tape. And the neat thing about this tape, like I said, is that you can tear it. And I use this tape for absolutely everything. And all of the examples that I'm going to show you, I'll just show you this one right now, but all of them in some way or another use this double stick tape. So this is just a little rectangle of glitter paper cardstock, and I've used double stick tape on that. I use double stick tape to adhere this flower here. I just use it for absolutely everything. So if you don't have double stick tape, you're going to want to find some. I know that there's a type of tape called red tape or something like that. I've never used it, and I don't intend to, because you have to cut it. And when you are doing a ton of product all at once, you cannot be wasting your time with a pair of scissors. So tearable double-sided tape is a really great investment. Again, another type of tape that you can use is what would be called dimensional double stick tape, and this is fine. I don't use this a ton, mainly because I use my my adhesive dots. I'll show you those, my adhesive foam dots, but this I use if I have like a large space of paper that I need to adhere that I want to be dimensional. But like I said, I don't use this a ton. Another thing I don't use a ton are these adhesive rollers, and the reason I don't use this is because no matter how many times I try one of these products, they just never seem to work for very long. The adhesion just isn't strong, the bond isn't good, so I don't tend to use these a ton. But what I do use an absolute ton is my favorite foam dots. Now, I don't use these squares very often. I buy these from Walmart, and they're $5 for a gazillion of them. I don't know why I don't use them a ton, but my favorite are the this to that foam dots, and you can't really find these very many places. I find them on Amazon. There are a few different scrapbooking stores that you can find them on, but I love these. They're double-sided, and they come on these sheets, and you just take them off, and I will show you some examples of how I have used these. Let's take this one here. So this is a little Valentine's card that I used, and I don't know if you can see those, but in there are some dimensionals, and I've also used my dimensionals on this one here. Can you see those dimensionals right down in there? And I have used them again on this one. Okay, so I use my dimensionals for almost everything, and here on this one where I use the glitter tape, I also used a dimensional. This right here is an origami butterfly, and so it's not flat. So to help myself out and to be able to make this look the best, I put a dimensional round pop dot underneath there. So I love pop dots. I use them for absolutely everything. Let's go ahead and move on to some of our self-adhesive types of embellishments. Okay, these are going to be things like your rhinestones. They come self-adhered. Your stickers, obviously. We've got our self-adhesive pearls that I use for almost all of my crafts include self-adhesive pearls because I think they're really classy. They're really easy to use, super user-friendly. Again, I have them just, like I said, everywhere. On almost all of my crafts, you will see me using the self-adhesive pearls. I also have what's called a quote sticker book. So these are fantastic. This is the friendship book, but I have a love book and a family book, an adventure book, and they just have these nifty little quotes in them, and they're stickers, they're self-adhesive, and it just adds a great little embellishment to whatever you're doing. And so I really like these. As you can see, I've used some before, but the last type of self-adhesive that I use, well, second to last, I'll show you my other one, is the self-adhesive paper. And I used to use these a lot when I first started crafting, but the neat thing about it is that you can use these with your die cuts, or you can cut out shapes or use them as a backdrop, and all you have to do, because they're self-adhesive, let's see if I can get this to work. Try another corner. Okay, you just peel this right off, and then it sticks right to whatever you want it to stick to. And this particular stack, let me see, I bought this so long ago. Okay, this is the DMD, and it was in 2006, so you can see it was like almost 10 years ago I was buying this, but the adhesive is really, really strong. So I have a few stacks left of this. I have no idea if they're still in production or not. I bought a bunch a long time ago, and the neat thing about this is that the paper comes in all different types of backgrounds and patterns, so it's just a really neat little tool to have in your adhesive toolbox. Let's go ahead then and talk about the second to last type of adhesive that I use. These are called epoxy stickers, and any of you who have worked with resin for long enough know that it's this gargantuan project, and it can be kind of time consuming. It can make you want to not be a crafter because you have to be so careful. Well, these epoxy stickers take the guesswork out of all of that, and yes, you are confined to a certain amount of space and a certain type of shape, but I find these to be perfectly useful for those magnets that I was showing you. Let me grab them one more time. Okay. So these are the magnets. Again, these are the 1-inch circles, and if you're going to be doing a project like this, these are just a really great product to use. They're self-adhesive, so they come in these little stickers, and what you do is you buy your little bottle cap, then you cut out your image, and then you just place this right on top there, and I could even layer if I felt like it, but I don't because I don't want to waste. And this is just a great way to make a nifty little project that you can have your kids do. You can make them for gifts. You can do all sorts of things with these, and they come in squares, they come in rectangles, they come in tags. I use mainly the circles because I make a lot of these little magnets, but that is another type of self-adhesive that you can use. Another type of adhesive that you can use is Velcro, and I use these a lot to adhere my projects shut. So one of the projects that I do all the time are these origami boxes, and to make sure that they close, I just put a quick, and it's just a half of these circles, I just put a quick little adhesive right here to keep that box shut so that whatever's inside doesn't fall out. I also use it for things like my gift card or money holders. I use the Velcro adhesive to keep those closed shut. You can buy them in these little strips. They come in squares and circles, or you can buy them in these big boxes. The only thing I don't like about this is that they're not already pre-cut. So you have to sort of work hard to make sure that you get the pieces that you're using the same size, or else it'll look funny, which as a crafter you know that the end product has to look really nice in the end. So that's why I don't use these a ton, but they come in boxes just like this. This is a huge, I have 2 boxes like this, and I haven't yet even begun to use all of it. So this would last you probably a lifetime. And the very last type of adhesive that I'm going to talk to you about is a sticker maker. So this is the Xyron, and it's the small. I think this is like the 2-inch. They come in larger sizes. They're called the Xyron X, and the purple one I think is the largest size, and then they have like a blue one that's the middle, and this is the small. So when you buy your replacements, you can buy either permanent or repositional adhesives, and permanent obviously means what it says. Once you stick it on, you're stuck with where you stuck it. And if it's repositionable, you can take it off and try to reposition it a lot easier than if you were using permanent. I vastly use permanent over repositionable because I've been crafting a long time and I don't tend to need to reposition once I'm done, but this is the one product that I will show you how to use it. So this is just a little pair that I made with my Cricut machine, and all you do is stick your little piece right down in there, and then you come to this side and you pull your sticker out and tear it. Then you press, press, press all over to make sure that the adhesive gets everywhere that you want it to be. And then you just rip this top protective cover off. And what you're left with is a sticker. And so I'm going to leave this on here because I'm not ready to use it right now. But then once I am ready, all I will do is take this off, and you can even see that it has adhesive now on the back of that. So the one downside to this Xyron machine, which I actually really love, the one downside is that you tend to waste a lot because you can only stick, you know, whatever the size of the thing is down in here, and then when you pull out, you have all of this space that hasn't been used, and then all of the space above it when you rip off. So it tends, I think it's kind of wasteful, so I would rather just use my double stick tape. But this is really handy if you have really small things that you're working with. I tend to like this as a sticker maker there. Another downside is that you really have to, if you're using something intricate, you really have to press around this shape in order to not have excess adhesive get all over the place. So this is something that I do use, but I would just say use it with caution. So let me just go ahead and wrap up by showing you a few other examples of adhesives that I have used. This is one where I used hot glue because, again, I am dealing with an embellishment that is not flat, it's dimensional. So I used a little drop or a little squirt of the hot glue right in there. But all of these layers, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. All of those layers I used my double stick tape with. This is called a sour cream box. I don't know why it's called sour cream. To me, it doesn't look like the shape of sour cream at all, so maybe I'll have to Google it or something. But right down in here is a very thin strip of double stick tape, and I'll just go ahead and show you. Like I said, I use this double stick tape for absolutely everything, and let me show you. It comes in so many different lengths and widths. Okay, so this is one of the thicker ones. This is the super thin one that I used on my sour cream little box there, and it comes in sort of like smaller ones, and it even comes in big fatty rolls like this. Not super expensive, and I use it for absolutely everything. So this is a really great investment. I tend to use, I think this is the 1/2 inch one. I tend to use the 1/2 inch one a ton. It just is perfect for most of the crafting that I do. But this particular craft, as you can see, has a piece of double stick tape in there right now waiting for me. And then when I fill it with candy or whatever I fill it with, then I will just take this protective layer off. I will then close it shut and be using my 1-hole puncher to punch a hole there, and then I can adhere like a little tag with ribbon or something I can use to make it look really pretty. But that is just a neat little gift box idea that you can do. Again, I have a bunch of these little gift card holders that I have lying around. I have a billion of these. I sell them on my Etsy shop. So I have them just all over the place. And then, like I showed you already, the origami box, and then the little, this is a Valentine's little love note that I have that I've used a bunch of different types of adhesives with. So that is just a very, very basic introduction to adhesives. There are so many different ways that you can use them. I have so much fun with my adhesives, so I just wanted to share with you a little bit about the types of supplies you can use as a crafter. I hope you have a great time using your adhesives. I will talk to you next time. Have a great day. Bye.